Hello, I'm Professor Roger McHaney. I'm a University Distinguished Teaching Scholar and Professor of Business at Kansas State University's College of Business. The idea for this book came about when I had a conversation with a friend of mine who was a longtime Kansas resident, and he told me how a city that was built on the shore of Tuttle Creek got flooded when they built the reservoir. It got me to thinking how changes sometimes come about, and these changes may be due to things that you have no control over. And so the town of Randolph had no control over the fact that they were going to build a reservoir, but they did have control about what they did to react to this news. So instead of just doing what 9 other cities did and become completely flooded and deserting their towns, they decided to redesign their city and rebuild it up on the banks of where the reservoir would eventually reach. And so there's still a Randolph, Kansas, and it's doing reasonably well for a small town in rural Kansas. So the same idea kind of hit me about higher education. I thought that our students are coming in with all these new technology skills. The Web 2.0s and social computing are becoming more and more important. And all of a sudden, higher education has a choice. It can either react to these changes and try to find a place for itself on the new digital shoreline, or it can let the waves kind of cover it up and it can be submerged and become irrelevant. Tech-savvy millennials are changing the way that we have to do higher education, and they're teaching Gen Xers and baby boomers like myself how to do things a little bit differently. They're bringing with them a lot of new tools and capabilities. They're bringing time slicing. They're bringing something I call shape-shifting. They're bringing all these low-cost, high-impact tools. The playthings that they use in their daily lives are being brought into the classroom. So what we can learn from them is really how these new tools make it possible to find information, share information, how to communicate in a lot better ways. So they do have a lot to offer us, and I think that we're going to learn from them at the same time they're learning from us. We really have a lot that we can teach millennials, and a lot of the book, The Digital Shoreline, does address these issues in a lot of depth, but I have one really interesting little quote that I'd like to read you from it, and I think it would be good to let you hear what one of the chapters is about, at least. And what I'd like to say is perhaps we can only offer them the best tools and skills of our generation while encouraging them to change the world with the playthings of their youth. We can teach them, and they can teach us. We may discover this cooperative approach results in better and higher quality learning for all of us. We professors need to use our judgment to help students understand our subject areas and why it's important for them to become masteries of their subjects. Then we need to make sure that we keep ourselves up to date and familiar with all the ways that information is being developed and shared and connected. So I think we have a lot to offer the students. We want to make sure that they become nodes of information, that they become experts in their subjects, and that we help guide them as to what this mastery all entails. What they can help us do is understand how they need to talk about it amongst the members of their own generation and how these interconnections are going to serve them in a lifelong path of learning. This is where the exciting part comes in a little bit. I really like thinking about the future, and I like being a futurist in some ways. And I think that we all tend to overestimate the impact of the future in the short run and underestimate the impact of the future in the long run. So, things are going to change, maybe not as quickly as we like, but they will be changing. And I see a lot of virtual games, immersive simulations. I see experiential learning using new digital tools, all being a big part of the future of education. But what I mostly see is that information is going to be co-created by professors and students. Just imagine for a moment if our 23,000 undergraduate K-State students each year contributed a little bit of knowledge that stayed here after the semester was over. Imagine just how much really relevant knowledge we could post on our websites and in our blogs and our wikis and so forth if everyone contributed some information. Well, I think that day is coming soon, and the time's going to occur when we start finding out ways to share information, to co-create new knowledge, and to become the source of information that a lot of businesses and individuals use after their university experiences.